All I have open is Discord and OBS. That's it. Nothing else. So, of course, we got the chat window open on OBS because we are live and worldwide on twitch.tv/Gimmick Minute. We're a little bit early compared to what we normally do on a Thursday, so my guess is we probably won't have too many people joining us today. But here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jason. I am joined this week by both Kevin and Michael. We have a lot to talk about. Man, WrestleMania just happened this past weekend, so we're going to talk about that. Then a whole bunch of shit went down. We're going to talk about that. And AEW actually had somewhat of a big announcement that wasn't incredibly underwhelming, but I'm a little worried for him, so we'll definitely talk about that a little bit later as well.
Yes, it was. Did you guys see the
dude.
Seinfeld? You see the Seinfeld meme of George going like, because he goes, yes. The whole winking was how Tony Khan's eyes were.
Yeah, I mean his eyes were seriously like just freaking saucers, like they were super big. They weren't bloodshot or anything like that. I think that's just how he is. Like I honestly think that he just doesn't know.
He's just like on camera socially awkward.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
he's just so high that he's surpassed the symptoms of red eye.
That's the narrative you're going with, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So, hey, I guess we'll start.
Frosty.
We'll start where it all started with WrestleMania weekend. I mean, huge weekend for WWE. I don't know if you guys caught the NXT Stand and Deliver show, but it was really good. I mean, they delivered on so many fronts in that. I think one of the highlights was Indy Hartwell winning the women's championship in a 6-person ladder match, but Dexter Lumis kind of helped make the save to help her win. Did you guys see that?
He did the James Ellsworth.
Yeah, he put her up on the shoulders and walked her up the ladder because she couldn't climb up herself.
No, that was pretty sweet. Like that was awesome. I know jumping, but like the last man standing match was awesome.
Yes.
Like the post, thing. I was almost kind of hoping like Austin Theory was going to come out. Yeah. I mean, I know he's a heel and stuff or whatever, but like it would have been kind of cool if they would have just kind of like broke kayfabe a little bit, had him come out, but
Gargano.
Or just come out at the end, like when they all like were hugging and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the whole family came out. So
yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah, I mean that match was good, and honestly, that probably should have closed the show. I mean, not that Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes was a bad match by any means, but the Grayson Waller Johnny Gargano, when you have like a, I guess that's WWE's version of a lights out match, the unsanctioned match. Like I feel like that really probably should have closed the show, but Carmelo Hayes getting his crowning moment was pretty cool. So
yeah, like I was kind of shocked by that because like it made me think of, was it, and Jesse, you would know better, was it the takeover when? So remember the one when Gargano and Ciampa had their unsanctioned match,
correct?
And that closed that closed the show. That's when Gargano like did the crossface with the brace.
Yeah.
That closed the show.
Right.
But on that match was when, or on that card was when I think then Aleister Black beat Andrade.
Yes.
For the title. So that was like Aleister Black's kind of. So I was kind of thinking like maybe they could have done like that, but
yeah.
Either way. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they kind of went with the closing with the title. And I will say, though, that the storyline between Breaker and Hayes building up to the show was better than the Andrade and Alistair one was.
Yeah.
So I will give it that they did have a strong story going into it. So maybe that's what kind of went into that a little bit, because it had more of a build than the Grayson Waller and Gargano thing did. Because they've basically been kind of quasi-building that feud between Hayes and Breaker since the whole NXT 2.0 days started.
Yeah,
it basically came on at the same time. So,
yeah,
there's a lot more history to it, I guess. I guess that's why they decided to go that route.
And I guess even with Gargano and Grayson Waller, there wasn't the history like with him and Ciampa. You know what I mean? Like that was like such a build, like over a year itself, whereas like Gargano like was kind of a few weeks ago.
Yep,
so
100%. So, and then then of course we had the Hall of Fame ceremony, which I thought they did really well. I like the only 4 people going into the Hall of Fame. What about you guys? Like, it was a nice show. I mean, Flair got a little weird during his Great Muta induction, but outside of that, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, apparently they weren't too super thrilled with him after that.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and I started listening to his podcast with Conrad yesterday, and they addressed that at the beginning, and they were talking about that, and like Flair's response was basically like, "Well, fuck you."
Shocking.
So
I feel like every time they put a microphone in Ric Flair's hand, they're not happy with the results. So I don't know why they still do it.
I think it was the whole thing with talking about Japanese wrestlers or something like that. Like, some reason people had problems with that, but like, I mean, it was a little weird, but. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was just stating facts. I mean, Muda's probably is. He's probably one of, if not the greatest Japanese wrestler ever. And the unfortunate thing, for Muda, is that he was always in NWA, WCW, and then over in Japan. Like, God, you imagine somebody like him, in the WWE. Mm-hmm. He's right there. I would have loved to ever talk about dream matches, like Muda and Shawn Michaels in their prime. Mm-hmm. Take my money now. You know what I mean? So Muda in his prime was just, with his explosiveness and just his wrestling style, was just amazing. So,
honestly, with Muda's style, he was almost about 10 years too early.
Yes.
Imagine if he was coming into his prime. Honestly, as old as he is, about 20 years too early. Because if he was coming into his prime now, with all the talent that's out there,
my God. Different story. Yeah, the fact that he was the first one in America to do the moonsault. He was, he would do that back handspring into the corner. But even when he did his suplexes and when he did his elbow drops, the explosion and how he did it with such fluidity was just revolutionary for 1989. So
yeah, and I know he always had the face paint going, but I fucking love his masks now. The mask.
So he's
those were really cool.
Yeah, so he's been doing that as part of Great Muta for the last maybe 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. But then when he wrestles as himself as Kijimuto, he obviously, does nothing or whatever. But yeah, the masks are pretty cool. I think he just was fuck the face paint.
Right. It's too long. All right. So then, then that kind of led into the Rey Mysterio, and I thought Conan did a fantastic job inducting Rey Mysterio. I mean, Conan, his whole speech I thought was great. He was super entertaining, and he really did Rey justice, and he kind of buried him at the same time, but then built him up. It was really good. And Dom and Rhea, I like how they just got up and walked out. That was enough of a subtle. Okay, you know what I mean? That it wasn't something that
didn't ruin it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that picture I sent you of all the guys when Trish Stratus walked by? Triple H is trying not to look, and Kurt Angle's doing his dumb little face.
Well, there was another. Yeah, there's another. What the hell was it? I think there was another Seinfeld meme with that. Get a good look, Dom.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, his girl was there with another guy, so I mean, it's kind of funny because it was him, Rhea, and then Buddy, but they never showed Buddy on camera, obviously. But
yeah, but there was a picture of the three or whatever, and somebody gave him shit, and Buddy's like, "Yeah, well, Leah's still left of me."
Oh man,
that's great.
All right, so then we get into WrestleMania Night 1, and man, Night 1 just honestly probably one of the better Night 1s since WrestleMania has kind of switched to this 3-night format. So, Michael, have you gotten a chance to really go back and watch any of this?
I've watched the parts I wanted to watch.
Okay, all right. So the show opened up with Austin Theory versus John Cena, which they announced that going, ahead of time that was going to open the show. They made a big deal about it. And honestly, it wasn't a terrible match, but it was probably the worst match of the night, honestly. I mean, am I wrong in saying
that? Well, especially because of the finish,
Yeah, finish as hell.
You want to fucking put this kid over with John Cena. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Unless it's
John the John Cena's entrance was cool with the Make a Wish
It
kids.
was, yeah.
Like even Austin Theory's was pretty sweet. Like because that was like when Austin Theory came out, when they did the shot behind him. Like that was your first shot of seeing the whole ramp and the whole stadium. Like that was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
But everything, the match was what it was. It probably was the worst match of the night. But honestly, at the end of the day, it wasn't that bad, other than the shitty finish.
It wasn't. And honestly, if it's going to lead to a rematch at SummerSlam, then the finish makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to lead
it's just a credit to John Cena for a guy who could wrestle once in a blue moon, and he's just always been so relaxed out there that he's just, you know what I mean? Like, he probably doesn't even need to train for a match, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Wow, was that shot at The Rock?
No, I mean, I'm just like, I mean,
Rock's like, I don't have time to train for Mania in 3 months.
He never said that. You understand that, right? Like, that never came from The Rock. That came from sources. That never actually came from The Rock. He never said that at any point in time. Brian Gewirtz even like confirmed that. He was like, "Yeah, that Rock, that it was never a thing for The Rock."
Well, then why is The Rock a little bitch and didn't show up?
I don't know. I think there's still time. Kevin, you mentioned the ramp, so I gotta give a shout out to my brother-in-law Riley, who does listen to the show. We were texting throughout the whole event, and he kept. Like, he pointed out that the ramp on the one side that the camera showed, like, looked, like, really bad. Like, there was something off with the ramp. Like, it just wasn't smooth. There was, like, a couple parts of it that were, like bumpy and not, like, there was, like, maybe, like, parts of it that were kind of chipping away, or you could see some, like, stuff coming through it. And he was like, man, that ramp looks terrible. And then once he pointed it out to me, I could not unsee it. Like, it just kept coming back. In fact, night 2, the first thing we did was text each other and be like, that ramp still looks like shit. He's like, yep.
It was that.
I didn't notice at all.
Like, at the top part, like that was pretty.
Oh, yeah. It was the side.
Was that hot?
Yeah, the gold
so
part,
high up.
The side where the gold was there. It was just there was a part of that just looked like terrible when you saw it. You could not see it after that.
Well, I guess it was one of those things where I wasn't looking at that part of the ramp.
Yeah,
I was looking.
I never really noticed it. Yeah.
So all right. So then after that, we went into the spotlight, the 4-way tag, which honestly ended up being one hell of a match. I mean, it was a spot fest. Don't get me wrong. But it was a lot of fun.
It probably was, the third best match of the night.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like...
Weren't there only, like, 5 matches?
No, there was...
6?
6.
4, 5. There's 7 night 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And just to kind of go with our standings, so I picked Cena to win the first match. You guys both picked Theory, so you both got points there. So this match was... the Viking Raiders, Ricochet and Strowman, the Street Profits, and then who's the other tag team in there?
Alpha.
Oh yeah, Otis and Gable. But yeah, man, it was a fun match. Like, there was a lot of like really cool, innovative spots in there. A lot of like breakups and things like that just kind of like came out of nowhere. But I mean, the Street Profits ended up getting the win, and Michael was the only one who picked them. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah.
So, was there anything in that match that stood out to you, Kev, that you could think of off the top of your head? I know it's been like 5 days since we watched it.
The football tackle that was done to Strowman by
oh yeah, Dawkins.
Dawkins fucking laid him out. That was amazing. Chad Gable doing the German DeBron.
Oh yeah.
And also the fucking springboard 450 to the outside that fucking Ricochet did. Yeah. Like, I know he's done that before, and he probably could do a 630 out of that, but that was pretty fucking awesome.
So Michael Strowman started doing his Strowman Express thing, where he was running around knocking everybody down, and he got to the corner where he was turning to go in front of the announce tables, and Dawkins came out of nowhere and just decleated him. Like, took him, like, leveled him. Like, it was...
Damn.
Yeah. It was like that.
And
it was like when Braun threw the chair at Roman. It was kind of like that.
Oh, when Roman threw the chair at Braun.
Yeah.
Or yeah, when Roman threw the chair at Braun. Yeah, it was kind of like that, where he just took him out, and it was out of nowhere. You didn't even see it coming. Like
No,
it was
a fan
great.
posted a video. They were right there when that happened, and if you like, I'll try to find it like close up like that. I mean, he fucking decked the shit out of it.
Yeah,
It was awesome. But Strowman, to his credit, sold it like $1 million too.
yeah.
Like he took it.
Well,
So
and then Strowman also took that from Gable too. Like Gable did that roll through German that he does, so like that slow lifting.
I saw
German.
that. Holy
that
shit!
was
Yeah. Fuck, man, that was great, and that really
yeah.
like the crowd really popped for that. Like that was a big
Yeah,
moment for Gable.
I tell you what, they were so for the first match, but like this match like got them going. So like kudos to all these guys, like because you kind of figured, oh, this match, yeah, it's gonna be a spot fest, but it's gonna be maybe sloppy or whatever. It was not real sloppy at all.
Mm-mm.
Like every single person in that match did a great job.
All right, then correct me if I'm wrong. After that, was it Bray and Dom, or was it the Damage Control versus BLT?
Damage Control, because Ray and Dom was one of the final matches of the night.
I thought
That was after Seth and Logan.
Yeah, Seth Logan, then Ray Dom, then the tag match. I think is where the final three were. I could be wrong though.
Well, no, you had Charlotte and Rhea.
Yeah,
and then you had the Miz,
yeah, that's right.
Miz segment in there. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about the ladies, the ladies 6-woman tag match. So, that was kind of what it was. Man, Trish, like Lita, I don't know what it is with Lita, but it seems like a lot of her athleticism is kind of gone by the wayside for the most part. Like she does not move as smooth as what she used to when she was younger.
Yeah.
Trish to me moves better. Like I think Trish is better than what she was.
Well, I think the reason is Lita probably retired and like went and just chilled. Didn't Trish like start like a whole fitness like thing? Like
oh yeah, she's been like a fitness. She's been in fitness
so like
ever.
So Trish is probably still like actively doing stuff where like Lita was probably like off on a beach fucking enjoying her life.
Yeah.
True. Good point.
I almost feel like the wrong people went over in this match.
Oh, 100%.
Well, if Bayley is truly done though, and Damage Control is just going to be around, it makes sense. But I don't know. Like it just depends on. I guess it depends on what's really going on with Bayley. Like there's been a lot of rumors that were like her tweet basically meant that maybe she was done. For the time being, maybe she's not.
That was the only thing I heard. Yeah, that was the only thing I heard is that she wanted to possibly go to New Japan.
And I'll be honest with you.
Sasha.
I'll be honest with you. Good for her. Like and I'm not saying that to be a dick. Like I honestly think like Bayley to me has gotten to the point right now with her character that it's stale. And maybe that's part of Damage Control not really working out. But I mean, before her injury, she was one of the hottest heels. And when she came back, she just did not regain that momentum that she had.
Yeah.
And I think, and honestly, in the division kind of moved on, right? You got new stars that emerged out of that because that's what happens when somebody gets injured. The next person steps up, right? So Bianca stepped up, Rhea stepped up, and Becky came back, and all these other things happened. So when Bayley came back, in the role that she did, there just wasn't that spot for her, right? So I think honestly, maybe if she goes away for a little bit, that might help her. Maybe she can revamp her character and come back. You know what I mean? Like you get that comeback story somewhere down the road. If it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, same thing with Sasha. She could do, you know what I mean? Like go off and do something else. That's the awesome thing about there being so many options right now is that you can go somewhere else and still be a star and maybe even make yourself a bigger star. And then if you want to come back to WWE, it's always going to be there. They're not fucking going anywhere.
Yeah. And they have the talent to like outside of wrestling stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, especially Bayley, like just with her, like, mic skills and whatnot. Like, she could have her own fucking talk show or something. You know what I mean? Like
Ding Dong Hello.
Yeah. Bring Ding Dong Hello to the mainstream.
Yeah. So not to because we'll talk about them at some point, but did you also hear about the fact that Drew McIntyre still hasn't like negotiated a new contract yet?
Yeah, I did hear something about that. So
I heard a rumor too. He was one of the people, possibly, like they don't know for sure, but he could have be possibly one of the people that's at the. They said somebody near,
A top star is upset about Vince McMahon.
Yes, that would be like asking for their release, basically.
Well,
And
if his
then
contract's
there
up,
was,
he doesn't need to ask for his release.
Yeah.
well, or maybe one of the guys that's just going to ride out it. They said there's
Yeah.
a few that are
They
going
said a
to
few
ride
right
out
out
there.
and a couple that were considering asking for the release.
Yeah, but
I just want to know what Triple H said tonight. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's tomorrow night, bud.
Or tomorrow night, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm
What are
curious
days?
too, and you know, and we could talk about it a little bit because honestly, like, you know, you guys know my feelings about this whole thing. Like, I honestly think it's just a whole lot of bullshit. Maybe there's some truth to some of it, but I mean, I just don't. None of us really know, and I don't think
Well-
anybody that's been reporting on it really knows either. And it's literally just fucking rumor.
the only thing is I've seen fan videos of like when the Seth Rollins segment, they literally in commercial break came out and told him that his segment was getting
Allegedly that was squashed. What's his name? Sean Ross Sapp reported that Seth was like, oh no, that it was all supposed to that way. They were just telling me something else, which could be him, covering it up. But
Yeah, I mean the other thing that I heard too was that like so Endeavor or whatever people were there Monday night
mhm,
and apparently like Triple H had something planned, but Vince kind of took over.
mhm,
And Endeavor like kind of watched it, and they are very well aware of like the problems with Vince running creative.
mhm.
So from what I heard was that like they want Triple H to run SmackDown, and they're gonna watch him and do SmackDown. And you already see the matches booked for SmackDown tomorrow. You got Sammy versus Jay. You got Imperium versus the Brutes. You know what I mean? Like they're like very pretty much Triple H booked matches and stuff because everybody's like, oh, I heard Vince is going to be running SmackDown too, but like you see the matches booked like they're Triple H booked
Like,
matches.
compared to Raw was like over 50% promos. It felt
Yeah,
like.
the first hour there was like 2 minutes of matches.
Yeah.
That was it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
But I think the biggest concern I have about it is just the fact that in that interview after the deal with Endeavor was announced, they asked Vince about creative, and he said, "Well, I'm going to be, in charge of the big choices, but I'm not going to be down in the weeds anymore." And I'm like, so what you're saying is you get the final say in everything. You're just not going to do any of the work, like that, compared to him staying out of creative and just being there for consulting. That's a massive difference.
Yeah. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know we don't try to get off on a tangent about this. Like, I understand it's Vince's company and he's the one that started it, all this and that and everything. But there comes a time where it's like, look what Triple H has been doing the last 8 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's taken it to another level. No offense to Vince or anything like that. But there's a time where it's like, okay, hey, if you want to still be around and everything, cool. But like,
Yeah.
don't sit there and take over and rip up everything. Maybe make a suggestion. If Triple H says "fuck you," then he says "fuck you."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if
I
he
mean-
says, "Hey, that's a great idea."
It's almost like he needs to sit back and watch Undertaker's last 7 matches before he finally retired. So that way he can see oh, this is what happens when you jump the shark and you don't learn your lesson and go away on a high note.
Yeah, it's all yeah.
and I think because Vince has even said out of his own mouth that he has come around to Triple H's creative, and
But that was
he's
how
been
long ago?
enjoying it. Not that long ago. It was like right before the whole Endeavor thing hit. So
all I know is Monday was not a Triple H book show.
Yeah, that was not a Triple H show.
But at the same
Not
time,
at
Nothing you
all.
can say will convince me.
but at the same time though, they moved the story along with the bloodline. They kind of started planting seeds to the next chapter. They had the huge turn with Brock at the end, which was fucking crazy. And it is what it is. Like I said,
they had good moments on Monday, but overall show it was not a good show. You know what I mean?
Not the best show in the world. You're right.
But no, the thing with Brock and Cody was
great. Yeah.
was great because you did not expect that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I saw something today. They said they've been playing that for a month. Like they knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
I guess looking back on it, we could talk. We don't have to talk about it this week. Maybe we could talk about it next week. As far as was that the right thing to do to Cody at WrestleMania? Like maybe we could think about for a week. Is there somebody else they could have booked in that spot? And then maybe after Roman wins, Cody comes out. Like you don't even have him come back to the Rumble. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's a surprise return or something. I don't know.
No,
we're getting off that tangent here,
when
but
we get to the Cody and Roman match, we'll talk about it a little bit because I got some opinions there. The only thing I'll say about the whole thing is what pissed me off about the whole situation was it started with Meltzer, and then it started with somebody who wrote something out on an iPhone Notes app that said per Fightful and had this whole long list of things, and all that shit circulated and got put out there, and everybody took it as gospel. And then Sean Ross Sapp actually came out and even said Fightful has not reported anything like that, so that was bullshit. And then of course Meltzer came out and was talking and did a whole interview. Oh, Vince was 100% in charge of everything, and he's back, and he's doing this and this and this. He doesn't fucking know. Like, it's all fucking made up, and that's what bothers me, is that then everybody in the internet wrestling community gets a hold of it, and it just creates this whole narrative, and that's literally all you hear about. And it was just so fucking annoying because I really enjoyed WrestleMania. Yeah, the Raw wasn't the greatest Raw ever, but WrestleMania was fucking awesome, and that was just Saturday and Sunday. It's not like that was 6 months ago that we had an amazing WrestleMania, and now things have started to go downhill. It was literally the night before. You know what I mean? And it's like, instead of talking about that, and I think that's like what gets me, is that's the narrative of these people. They have a bias, and, you know, things are going really well for WWE. And of course, you know, they want to, you know, with AEW's announcement that just came up, they want to kind of, you know, pull the rug out a little bit to try and make AEW seem more appealing. Like, it's so fucking dumb to me. Just, you know, report on what happens and give your opinion on it. Like, you don't have to try to stir up shit and cause more problems than anything. I don't know.
I mean, you said there's a bias, but like Meltzer and all of them always report about how unhappy everyone is at AEW and shit. So like that has nothing to do with AEW versus WWE.
The bias has to do with his problems with WWE and the fact that, you know, because they had a really good weekend in like a, you know, record-setting weekend and an awesome WrestleMania. Well, now we got to put out something negative to get people to be pissed at WWE because we want them to forget about the awesome show and think about the negativity. Like, if there's not enough negativity going on, we got to create negativity in order to push your narrative. That's the bias. That's what I was talking about with the bias. Anyway, all right. Well, I digress. Let's move on. So Seth and Logan Paul, another really good Logan Paul match. I mean, the dude just knocks it out of the park every time.
I want to give credit. I want to give credit to Ava because like that's the only match she watched with me. She called that was KSI.
Really?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is KSI? Apparently, I'm old.
That's his business partner.
Oh, okay.
It was the guy who they hate each other. Yeah. They probably still hate each other, but I don't know if they boxed against each other or whatever. But they went into business together and like they kind of pretty much, I don't know, they own Prime together and whatever else.
Yeah, that's what Lily was saying too. That they hate each other, but they're business partners now.
So we're watching, and I was like, I bet that's got to be somebody. I said, I wonder if it's Jake Paul. And she's like, I bet it's KSI. And then sure enough, they took the mask off. It was KSI.
Makes sense. If that was his business partner for Prime, that would be him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how great was that? Like, how well did they time that spot?
That was perfect.
With, I mean, all of them. Like, yeah, it was.
Seth moved him onto the table so smoothly, and then Logan was spitting in the air, so we didn't see it. Like, it was done beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah. Good match. I mean, you know, nothing else you can really say about it. Just a hell of a match.
You hate
everything,
but it was.
Yeah, you really do. You hate to fucking give credit to him, but he's just so fucking. He's got it, and that's the thing we hate about.
But Seth and his entrance, man, like you know what I mean. Like we're in the.
Did you see the video of him showing Becky his entrance attire?
Yeah. So
and she was like, "I'm so fucking jealous."
So what's funny about that is, you know, my whole family was actually watching at that point in time, and Katie was kind of making a comment about what he was wearing. My wife Katie, as he was walking down the entrance, I was like, honestly, I think he and Becky just tried to outdo each other with who can wear the most ridiculous thing. Like, I honestly think that. Yeah. And then literally later on that TikTok came out and I sent it to her. I was like, see, I told you.
How about the homage to Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking little strappy things he was wearing. And... when he came out, it was like, is he dressing like Rihanna or what? Like,
Yeah, I had no idea.
from
Because normally you can tell it's usually from a movie or something, or a
Yeah,
comic book
usually, yeah, he
character.
does something very, yeah.
You know, like he did like the White Walker, Game of Thrones, the one year. Like he's always had.
But
He
just
did Hand of the King with the Jamie
Yeah.
Lannister.
Yep.
He's done
just
Thanos. He's done. There was another one. I can't remember what it was now, but there was another one he did that was like very like pop culture-y.
But just the fact that the crowd doing his theme, like
Yeah.
that big of a crowd and that big of an open, like the fact that it was that loud and everything, like like I just couldn't imagine like being there, like what that sounded like.
Yeah.
Just,
That crowd
I
was super
mean,
loud. You could hear them from the beginning. Like they did not stop. Like it was all throughout
yeah,
the night. That was great.
definitely one of the better WrestleMania crowds
Yeah.
for sure.
And then after that, we probably got the match of the weekend: Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Holy shit! I mean, like I remember Lily was like, "All right, I got to go to bed. I'm tired. Like I can't stay up." And I was like, "You sure you don't want to see this match?" She's like, "I've seen Rhea and Charlotte before. It's fine." And I told her the next day, I was like, "You've never seen that Rhea and Charlotte. Like that was a whole
No,
different animal. Like that was
it
so freaking good."
like in my opinion, like I give this match like 6 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the pacing of it was amazing. You know what I mean? Like it started out like kind of whatever, but like they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it
You
was a
know what I
physical
mean? Like
match.
they, I mean, the back suplex and Charlotte like took it on her nose and like got fucking rug burn
Yeah.
from that, but like just God, what a hell of a fucking match. Like, yeah, I mean, probably was the best match of both nights.
You know, the one that
I,
followed it was really fucking good, and then
well, yeah,
then there was a match the next night that was really good too. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough
I would
call.
say, yeah, I mean, honestly, those three that I know, we're probably talking about the same, or probably like
Yeah.
one A and one B.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Did
tremendous.
you get a chance to watch this one, Michael? I know this wasn't one that was high on your list. Like,
No.
honestly, man,
Oh my God, please go back
if
and
you were
watch
to
it.
go back and watch one match, it would be that one. Like,
Yes.
I would recommend it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, it starts out kind of, you know, whatever, but I'm telling you, the last, what you say, Jason, like 10, 15 minutes of it
Yeah.
were just fucking, I mean, brutal. Like,
There's certain
I see. Because I was on the
matches.
same page as Jason's kid. I was like, I've seen this. I'm good.
Yeah.
no, I mean, God, I mean, maybe, definitely probably one of like the greatest women's matches, if not the greatest women's match ever,
Wow.
It
in
was
my opinion. In my opinion,
it was so good that you forgot you were watching two women wrestle.
I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, it might be even top 5, at least top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like,
it was
yeah.
amazing.
The only other women's match to me is still like sentimental to me is Sasha and Bailey from Takeover.
I think
But
it's
outside
better
of
than
that, yeah. But outside, I think this is better than that.
Yeah. So then we got
Yes.
the moment of the weekend, and that was the tag match between KO and Sammy versus the Usos. And man, talk about another 7 star match on a scale of 1 to 5. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys brought it, and the just the ending, how they ended it, how they closed the match out was just so freaking perfect. I mean, it was goosebumps.
I literally, I know I told you, Jason, I went back and I rewatched the women's match the next day again. And then I went back and watched it. Like this match, like me, like I had like almost like tears in my eyes. Yeah, seriously. Like just the emotion of this match and like the chills from this match. I mean, you need to think like, okay, you knew this match was gonna be good, but like to follow Charlotte and Rhea
Right. Yeah.
with this shit and that last visual of Sammy when he gave the third haluva kick,
Mm-hmm.
fucking. And I'm gonna probably agree with Jason, probably saying this was probably a better match because storytelling.
Yeah, I think it's just the emotion of it was
Motion.
You know, like Rhea and Charlotte had a good story going into it, but it was never not on the level of this one. Like you felt everything that happened in this match. Like it's literally pulling for it.
If WrestleMania was a one night card, like this would have been a main event for me.
Yeah.
Like no offense to Cody and Roman, but like there was more story here. Just because of Sammy and KO, because they've been dealing with the bloodline for fucking ever. Since 2020.
So since getting Roman accidentally locked to
to
steel beam for 15 minutes.
Yes. Since the Thunderdome.
Yep.
But just absolutely, and there were so many times like when I don't know if it was Jay or Jimmy kicked out the stunner, and I thought that was it.
Yeah.
And then when he kicked out of that, I was like, I'm literally here like watching it by myself. I'm looking at my TV. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're right. Yeah.
And then when the Usos, when he kicked out of the 1D, I thought that was it.
Yeah. Like that was one of the most protected fucking moves in WWE, and the fact that he kicked out of that, I was like, damn.
Michael Cole's response to that was fucking awesome. Like they showed they showed the actual camera view of the camera that was on him when he did that because he was standing up because the table was broke. That was really cool.
Yeah, like I wanted them to go another 20 minutes. I did not want that fucking match to end. Like I don't care. Kick out of everybody's finisher 40 more times. I don't care. I'm serious. Yeah. Like it was just amazing. Like I want Sammy to give him 20 more haluva kicks.
You know what I mean? An AEW pay-per-view, he would have.
Oh yeah.
But then he would have won with a roll-up.
Yeah.
God, I mean, you're talking about all-time WrestleMania, like definitely probably, I mean, up there as far as best tag team matches in WrestleMania history. First ever tag team title main event. First tag team main event since the first one. Just everything. Just the entrance. How about fucking KO and Sammy's entrance?
Yeah.
KO's sitting there waiting on Sammy, and when everybody says let's go, you see KO going.
Oh shit. Speaking of entrances, we skipped a match, but go ahead, we'll finish this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But when Sammy came out, like I'm sitting here and Sammy came out, like I almost fucking jumped up. I was like, I'm ready to fucking go. Like I have not been like that for a match in a long time. Sorry, but I just can't get over that.
That's what great storytelling does. That's a little bit what I was talking about last week. Is that when wrestling is good, there's nothing better, and this is an example. This is an example of great. Because. I don't know if I've been this invested in a story since the Mega Powers exploded. Like, I mean, it is, maybe Austin McMahon, but like this is an amazing storytelling both in ring and outside the ring, and you just can't beat it. Like the whole thing.
No.
And I still want to know where it's going to go from here because now it looks like the Usos might be on the outs, and maybe a little bit of what Sammy was saying is coming to fruition, and I don't know, man. Like there's so much meat still left on this bone. Like I can't wait.
Let's just, at the end of the day, can we just hope that we get rid of the blueberry and the fruit roll-up tag titles?
Well, and here's the thing. Did you notice on Raw, Rhea kind of had a thing with Bianca? So it looks like maybe they're going to combine the women's titles too. So
I heard they might like build towards actually like I've heard SummerSlam or even Mania next year. Those two.
Okay. I hope it's SummerSlam. I don't want to wait that long for them to unify them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but there you go. So if they unify the women's, then they're not splitting up the men's titles. You know what I mean? So maybe they'll finally get some new titles.
I would listen.
The only one I like is the US. Everything else can change.
Yeah.
Well, the Intercontinental could change.
Well, I know. I said the only one I like is the US. Everything else can go away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like the women's tag titles.
Oh yeah, the women's tag titles are fine. Yeah, but
I'm fine. I'm fine with them combining the tag titles. I'm fine with combining the women's titles. I'm not opposed to them having the WWE title and then bringing back the World Heavyweight title. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I don't like that just because I feel like there's always one that feels lesser, and I think that's a problem.
I do too. I agree with Michael on that.
There's always champion A, champion B, and I feel like that's a problem. You need
that's true. Because when Triple H was World Heavyweight Champion, that was the more important title. But then like when he wasn't world champion, like it went over to SmackDown, and and then Cena was WWE champion.
Yeah.
All right, so so the one we skipped was also another awesome story, and that was Ray and Dom, and man, so Dominic's entrance.
I love it. That dude, he's so fucking good.
I love it.
It was
so fucking good.
Other than the fact that they accidentally showed an Auschwitz clip in it, and it pissed a lot of people off. Did you guys see that?
No, apparently I missed that.
So during the entrance, and they might have edited out of it before you watched it, but during the entrance, they showed a bunch of clips of like different prison yards, and apparently one of them was Auschwitz. And then a whole bunch of, like, that got the Jewish community.
Did they not learn their lesson over the Gunther fucking shit? Jesus Christ.
Evidently not. So.
They clearly have some sort of white supremacist working in their editing department that they need to beat out.
Yeah.
Because... Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I think
nevertheless, that was fucking
But yeah, the fucking little intro of him coming out of his cell and then like getting in the van and the van pulling up and him getting out of it.
Like all of a sudden he's in jail again or something. Like
yeah, like he had to go back. He was on house arrest this entire time. He was out on parole and he broke his parole.
Yeah.
So real quick, Mr. Ghost Cross, that's Ghost like Casper, Cross like Jesus. Thank you for chiming in on the chat. I know the Twitter notification just went out a couple of minutes ago because I just put it out a couple of minutes ago. Typically we go live at 10, so I was trying to be consistent of when we go live, not when we actually started the show because we started it early. Now I admit I should have sent it out earlier too, but that was done by me. So thank you though for pointing that out. I appreciate it.
What he meant to say was you fucking Mark.
No, that's Jake from our Michael's cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fanboy Fight Club Jake. All right, so so and then
what he said about John Cena in the chat, I had no idea what that was, and I went and looked at it. I couldn't unsee it after that. Go back in our chat what Jake said about John Cena. He looked like somebody.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a while though.
Yeah. Ernest. Yeah.
That was an old. Yeah, or the Ernest thing has been a fucking joke for years.
Because he could easily play like Ernest in a bio.
Yeah, like after Cena kind of like cooled off on movie and like started doing movies more and more. Like people were like, "Oh my god, he looks just like Ernest."
It's the hair. It's the once he grew out his hair. If he shaved his head back down, he doesn't look so much like him. It's the longer hair.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just had to go look, and I was like, I can't unsee
this.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, so Dom's entrance was just absolutely amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. And then Ray's entrance was great too. Coming in
I have a problem with Ray's entrance. Though.
All right, why?
I felt it just was too like. I didn't like the fact that they jumped between songs so quickly. Because we went from a random Snoop song to Eddie's theme.
That was not a
to then almost instantly. I mean, you know what I mean. To then it just like back to Ray's theme within a matter of seconds. Like I feel like he should just come out to Viva La Raza and that should have been it. It shouldn't have gone back to his music. Like it felt too choppy.
Yeah, no, it was a little weird, but it didn't bother me so much though.
That was kind of like, I mean, I know we'll get to that match, but like the next night when Edge came out to Slayer, and then they cut to his, like he should have just been the Slayer.
Yeah, it should have just been. Yeah, I hated the fact that he went back to Metal Angus midway through his fucking entrance and like got rid of all of his weird gimp mask and his wings and shit.
And I know
like,
we'll get to that, but when I heard fucking Slayer playing, man, that was fucking awesome. Anyway, so
I think Jake was talking about John Cena. He said it just gets more apparent the older he gets and how he talks to kids.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Fair. So, but the Ray and Dom match was awesome. I mean, I was kind of surprised Ray won, even though like I picked him to win. But it was still a really good back and forth match, man. Ray still has it, and Dominic, man, he's come a long way. I mean, a long.
Yeah, night and day difference from the Thunderdome.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, I mean, he's young. I mean, he's in his early 20s, so it's he's gonna grow and get better and stuff like that. But I mean, his character work has grown by leaps and bounds, and his and honestly, his in ring work has gotten a lot better. And honestly, he's really filled out a lot more too. So he could probably stop wearing that dumb, I don't know, with a chest protector like D'Lo Brown get up that he wears.
I feel like he wears it because that's what Ray wore way back in the day.
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah, like way long time ago, like in WCW, he'd wear like the vest and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, but now that he's more developed, I think he could probably get away with not wearing that so much or switch something.
More developed? He was fucking 20. What do you mean more developed?
No,
you mean he just
like
started exercising more? It's not like he fucking hit puberty, Jason. He was an adult.
He was skin and bones when he first started with WWE. Like he's actually a little thicker.
Yeah, it just means he worked out. It doesn't mean that he developed. He's not like fucking like he grew tits or something.
He's filled out. That's the term. Filled out more. Like
the fact that we're on something, I won't go there, but there's so many ways I could go. You could say
the same thing from Jungle Boy in AEW. Like he is a lot more like filled out.
He worked out and got buff.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like Dom is to the point now where I don't think he needs.
But the way you said it made it sound like he hit puberty and he finally fucking filled out. Like
I said it then, my fault. But
look, he's really filled out over these past few years. Like he's a fucking teenager who like went from the scrawny kid on the baseball team to now he actually is like looks like everyone else.
I mean, it's kind of is what happened though. Really though, right?
Yeah, but one of those is out of your control. The other one is.
But I mean, some of that just comes with getting older in age, though. Like your body.
Well, yeah, you get fatter when you get old, but like there's a difference. He went to the gym and worked out. He didn't just fucking eat Oreos and suddenly fill out his vest a little better.
Dom doesn't need the vest anymore. He probably could rock no shirt and be okay.
We don't know that. Maybe he's like Shield Roman, where he didn't work out the abs.
I'll tell you what. Maybe I wouldn't give a shit so much. Like it wouldn't bother me so much if it didn't have that dumb like DM on the back. Like I don't know, something about the aesthetic of the shirt or the vest that he wears just bothers me. It's just I
he's
don't
a
know.
dungeon master.
It just looks weird. I don't know. Anyway, all right.
I'm still here. I just have to go. I'm still here. I just have to go on camera for a second.
Okay.
So we got you talking about Dom filling out, and now he's got to go fucking take his pants off.
All right. Yeah. So
I gotta go fill out something.
Night one picks. So you guys both picked Theory. I picked Cena. In the women's match, both Michael and I picked Rhea. Kevin picked Charlotte. We all picked KO and Sammy. We all picked BLT. We all picked Seth. I picked Ray, and then Michael, you picked the Prophet. So you only missed one night one. I missed two. So then moving on to
Kevin missed a bunch from the sounds.
Kevin missed three.
Yep, I was fucked.
So then we move on to night two, where Kevin did even worse. So night two, there's only 3, 4, 5. There's 6 matches night two. So night two opened up with Brock and Omos, which honestly, not a bad match. Like it was what.
Yeah, I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I watched that just out of curiosity. Okay. I was like, I gotta know. I'm like, I gotta know.
So see, Omos did have some athletic ability. He does move a little bit better than what he had been. And fucking Brock getting him up for that 5 though was even though
Brock sold for him like incredibly.
Oh yeah, he did. Brock made him look like $1 million, and even when beating him. But
I will say, I feel like that though is a little detrimental to then Monday After Raw, because I don't know if it makes it believable that Cody Rhodes can beat Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar just fucking got his ass reamed by a giant man and then like barely beat him afterwards, but still beat him.
Yeah.
Like it's a little hard to believe that this tiny white boy is going to do anything.
Unless they have Cody go against Omos at some point in the build up and beat him.
I mean, that would be a fucking hell of a interesting direction. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, but I mean, that'd be a way to do it. I just dropped my microphone. Sorry.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
All right. Off to the races here on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. So yeah, but it was still impressive as hell when Brock got him for that 5. I mean, it really was. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, you knew it was going to happen, but it was still pretty crazy. Then after that, we had the women's showcase match where you had Ronda and Shayna. You had Natty and Shotzi. You had Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. And then there's another team I'm missing. Who's the fourth team?
Raquel and Liv.
Raquel and Liv. Right. Yeah, Raquel and Liv. And, of course, Shayna and Ronda got the match. Like, this match wasn't that great. It had a couple of moments. It did. A couple of spots, but it wasn't that great.
No, it was like they were like not in the match like at all, and then all of a sudden they won. That's basically how it was.
Yeah, it's almost like there's something wrong with one or both of them, where they were being protected.
I think Ronda's hurt.
Ronda's
hurt? Yeah, last I heard, Ronda still had like something wrong with her arm or shoulder or something like that.
I don't know. Is Shayna too? Because Shayna looked like she got hurt a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know.
Yeah, they could both be banged up, possibly.
All right, now I'm trying to think of what match came next on that night. Was it Edge and Finn, or was it Sheamus and the?
I think it was
Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus. Yeah.
Yes, a literal mic drop, Jake. Thanks. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the other one that I said was a 5-star match. Michael, did you go back and watch this one?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I wasn't super interested, so I just kind of like skimmed through it.
Well, you gotta watch this match.
This was a match of night. This was probably the match of night too. Like, dude, these three guys kicked the living shit out of each other for about 20 minutes. I mean, it was one of the most brutal. Like, Sheamus and Gunther had a really brutal match, but then you throw McIntyre in, who's not afraid to pull any punches, and it was even more fucking brutal than the match that Gunther and Sheamus had. Like, these guys,
when Sheamus did the pounding on McIntyre and got to like what 29.5 or something like that.
Yeah, the beats of the Bowery.
Oh my god! Like,
and then McIntyre slid down and Sheamus caught him in the face with the last one.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time where what was it? McIntyre had Gunther in it, and he was hitting him, and then Sheamus was hitting him in the chest. So, like, one was on one side of the apron, the other one was on the other. So the one would club him, and then the other one would chop him. So they were just one after another. Like, it was brutal, man.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
All their chests were bright red. Like, it was. I mean, it was.
I know. Well, did we all pick Sheamus?
We all picked Sheamus, yeah.
But I am kind of glad Gunther went over, though.
Me too. I'm shocked, honestly, but I'm glad.
Same.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah, without a doubt. Same. And then we got the hell.
There was a photo. Well, real quick, did you guys see the photo of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre as they came out through Gorilla? They both were like sitting on like those steps or whatever, and they were just both like fucking laid back. And like, I don't know if McIntyre posted it or whatever he said. I think we're ready for a few pints. They were just sitting there like fucking just like exhausted and like fucking beat red from getting their asses kicked. It was amazing.
No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to see it though. That was, man, that was one of probably the most fun matches to watch. I mean, it was start to finish, just complete brutality, and it was great.
Yeah, that match, the women's match, and then the tag match if you're gonna go back and watch some matches.
Yeah. And then we got the Hell in the Cell match with Edge and Finn Balor, which you got the Demon coming into Hell to fight the Devil. Man, the whole Brood Edge thing was cool until it wasn't, and then there was a lot of rumors of Gangrel and Christian being a part of it, and that none of that happened. Like the
only thing it was, well, the back of his jacket, he had them on.
He did have them on the back of his jacket. Yeah, that was about it, and on the side of his pants too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we got.
Yeah, that is all we got. Their
likeness was a huge bag of disappointment.
Their likeness was a part of it. Honestly, like, so when Finn got busted open, I honestly thought that was a planned spot for the cage to open up, and I thought Judgment Day, maybe Dom and Priest would come in, and then maybe we would get the Brood coming up, Christian and Gangrel to help him. But then that didn't happen. And then when you see Finn's head and you're like, oh, never mind. They had to stop it because dude had a 12-inch gash in his head.
Well, I mean, right before before they took him off to the side, like you saw like the blood like squirting.
Oh
out
yeah,
of his head.
it was
Yeah,
dripping
just started to
everywhere.
pour out of
Yeah,
his head, yeah.
but somebody had like what they didn't show you, like they were actually stitching him up. Like, it wasn't just like, hey, let's put something on there.
Yeah, they
close
were
it.
there with a needle and thread,
Yeah.
getting him back together again.
Fucking insane.
And Edge did his best to try to like keep things going while that was happening, and it did kill the momentum of the match. But once they got going again, the last like 10 minutes of match was really good.
Yes, once Finn was back in, like they fucking picked it up, and it was a hell of an ending.
I do feel like the rumors that it went short because of that, it wouldn't surprise me though, because it did feel like there was more that was probably planned.
Well, and I don't know if it necessarily went short, but they probably cut some things out, because that was like a whole 5 or 6 minutes of nothing that they probably had things planned that they probably cut out. You know, to
so if you cut that 5 or 6 minutes, and they might have cut maybe another 5 minutes, like so they probably should have. There probably should have been 10 more minutes of action.
Yeah.
So,
without doubt.
but still, I mean, fuck, man. Yeah, but after when you saw Finn's head the next day or whatever.
Yeah. It was that night he fucking posted the picture.
Yeah, that was fucking. I mean,
and I love the caption though. It's just a flesh wound.
And then the demon loses again.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a heel demon, so it's a little different, I guess. But
I don't care. Like the treatment of the demon character on the main roster. Like, don't fucking bring it back if you're just gonna have it fucking lose again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just shocked he didn't go. Like, if like, you know, he should be being built up more than anything.
Yeah, like Edge had nothing to gain there. There was no reason for Edge to win that match.
Yeah.
Because there's this rivalry needs to end so they can move on.
Well, and it did. And that did close out the rivalry. It's over now.
Yeah, but it closed out in the wrong way. Like you're fucking putting over the guy who's retiring in 6 months in Canada instead of the fucking guy who's one of the future stars of the company.
Yeah.
Ghost Cross, just give me goofy ass vampire shit in WWE. Just goofy anything, mythical ninjas or wizards or whatever. They've had all that in WWE, Jake. You just have to be watching. Like, it's.
Hey, I mean, you should go back and watch Kevin Nash as the Wizard of Oz.
Remember during the pandemic era when they had ninjas with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders?
Oh my god! And then fucking Akira Tozawa during the 24/7 title run was a ninja.
Yeah, and then you had Teabag and.
Yeah, and Slapdick.
Slapdick.
and yes, Ghost Cross. They did. I don't know if they stapled him in the ring, but they stapled him after the match. But they sewed him up and they glued it in the ring to stop the bleeding, because it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't. If you go to Finn Balor's Twitter or Instagram, like, you'll see the gash on his head. Like it is probably about. It's probably about 5 or 6
like 4 inches.
Yeah,
that long and about that wide.
Yeah, and it's deep. It's probably like it. I mean, you can't see his skull, but it's probably close. Like it's really deep.
Also, if you want to see some fucking spooky shit, go watch anything with Bray Wyatt as the Fiend from before he came back.
Yeah. Yep. Very true.
That with the Firefly Funhouses, like, it's fucking great.
Yeah. Oh, I miss Bray. Hopefully he comes back again soon.
I miss good Bray. No, I don't really miss current Bray. Like, I'm kind of happy that the Lashley and Bray match didn't happen, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, he said he liked the smoke grenades with Finn's entrance with the demon. He had the smoke grenades that he was.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a little cheesy. I was just like, what is he, a fucking like flag person in the marching band in his high school? Like,
wah. He's like, wah, wah.
Oh, like, what the fuck is going on here?
But to have the old school Finn, you know what I mean? With the lights
music,
going up.
having his actual music was a nice touch.
And
that was cool.
At least he didn't like hump the ground with a heartbeat this time.
I miss it when he'd hump the ground.
Remember the Extreme Rules match with Roman when the heartbeat started happening? He would like hump the ground. Like, that was a little weird, but anyway. Then after that, we got the Asuka.
Getting the blood pumping.
We got the Asuka versus Bianca Belair match. This wasn't as good as what I thought it would be, but it was still a really good match. I think maybe
another match that didn't end the way it should have, though.
Yeah.
The Bianca's entrance, like, one of the best WrestleMania entrances ever, and like,
that was
especially
awesome.
when you hear the backstory, about the girl who lost her mother that morning, the one that was the contortionist or whatever.
I
Like,
didn't hear anything about that.
Triple H said.
Did you see the entrance, Michael?
Yeah, with all the young girls doing the hair thing.
Yeah,
So the little
Triple
one,
H had the
one that crawled back between her legs and like actually danced down the ramp with Bianca. That's who he's talking about. She found out that morning that her mom died.
Jesus.
Yeah, and Triple H like brought it up in the press conference, and he like started getting very emotional about it. So, because they talked to her, like she still wanted to do it and stuff or whatever, But yeah, it was a hell of an entrance.
And Bianca
awesome.
kind of gave her that moment, and wanted her to be the one to walk out with her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
I'll say for Bianca though, I mean, she's been a champ for a year now. You know what I mean? Like, which is crazy to think, and she's still pretty damn over.
And I'll be honest with you, Michael. I know you're pissed that Asuka lost, but to me, like Asuka is gonna be there no matter what. Like she's the consummate, like amazing. I mean, she's always gonna be there. She's almost kind of like a utility at this point, but she's a veteran, right? And you can count on an amazing match from Asuka. But if the overall goal is Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair to unify the titles, you have to keep the title on Bianca. So that ending makes sense, knowing that that's where they're going to go with it.
If they go that direction, we don't know. They teased it. They tease a lot of things that don't come true.
Yeah, true. But, who knows what's going to happen between now and whenever they decide to do that match. But I think that's where they're going with it, and that's why they went that direction. So I think that's, I get it. Like, okay, yeah, Bianca.
I'm fine with you. I'm fine with either one. You know what I mean? If it was Asuka or Bianca versus Rhea, I guess I'm fine with either one.
I just think it was dumb to bring back the New Japan persona for Asuka. Just have her fucking like
lose again.
Yeah, lose again. Plus job out to fucking Carmella, who shouldn't have even a fucking snowball's chance against her.
She never jobbed out to Carmella.
She had a match with Carmella fucking couple weeks before Mania and lost.
No, she didn't.
Jason. Yes, she did.
When did that happen? Because I even went back and
it
looked
was
it
like
up.
It was like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
She didn't lose the match. She won. They had a match.
She didn't.
Asuka won it.
Maybe I'm. You know what it is? I think it was because Carmella fucking owned her ass most of the match. That's why I think Carmella won.
Subconsciously, Michael thought that she won.
Yeah, I was just like, so I just assumed that she won the match because Asuka fucking gave Carmella offense in a match.
It's like the U.S. champion losing a non-title match.
I don't know. And the whole win-loss record at WrestleMania. Like, I just looking up some of these. Triple H has lost 13 times at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but he's also fucking been there for 20 something of them.
Shawn Michaels has lost 11 times at WrestleMania. Chris Jericho has lost 9. Randy Orton has lost 9. Like, these are all guys that are, at the top.
But how many times did they win, Jason? You're leaving out the important part.
Well, how many world titles has Triple H won?
He hasn't. Triple H. He's only won one at WrestleMania.
Well, he successfully defended one against Orton.
He defended one, yeah. But out of his win-loss record, though, he has 13 losses. I think he's only has maybe 5 wins or something like that. He doesn't have a lot of wins at WrestleMania.
Well, he successfully defended at 16. Okay. No, I know he. I know he has a lot of losses. I'm just trying to think of all like his wins and stuff. But like. He won the title at 18. He successfully defended at 19. He lost 20, 21, 22. 24 he lost. 25 he successfully defended. And then, he lost to Taker back-to-back years.
So I just went back and I skimmed through the Asuka and Carmella match. And while Asuka did win, every time I'd skim, Carmella was in control of the match. So, like...
You didn't even watch
but I skipped. But it's an 8-minute match, and I fucking every time I'd click on the timeline, which was like 10 different times, Carmella was in control of the match. Okay. So
join us tomorrow night for a bonus watch along of the Asuka Carmella match.
I'm just saying, Carmella should have been a squash for Asuka. You can't tell me otherwise, Jason.
Although Asuka
you cannot defend that
theoretically
choice.
prove to you that Carmella won.
But
I mean, if it was like boxing and it was points, Carmella won.
You also have Carmella coming back off an injury, and you're trying to build her up.
I don't give a shit. Carmella's a fucking jobber.
She is not. She's a former champion.
There's a lot of former champions who are jobbers.
Carmella, dude.
Anyway,
and Jake, I get what you're saying with the unifying titles, but honestly, they have way too many champions. And we talked earlier about when you have 2 world champions, one of them always feels less than, and I think that's part of the problem.
Man. Jake, you're one comment away from Jason calling you a fucking mark. I'm just telling you.
You better keep your tweets to yourself there, bro.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I think a lot of people thought Asuka should have won. So I you won't get disagreement from a lot of people on that.
Anyway, back to it. We're running out of an hour.
All right. So then we get to the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. This had a big fight feel through the entire thing. The match was a good match. I mean, there was a lot of kickouts. There was a lot of, as Pat Patterson would say, gaga. With the interference and stuff like that. Roman definitely got the win, but it was not a clean win. So the story is not over. They didn't give Cody that big WrestleMania spot, but I would argue that this was more of a test to see if he could handle that spotlight. And the next time he has that chance, because he knocked this one out of the park, the next time he has that chance will be his moment. To me, that's how I felt with this. That's how I even felt going into it. I picked Cody to win because I kind of fell into that, this is the time sort of thing. But kind of looking back on retrospect, like kind of with the benefit of hindsight, okay, maybe it wasn't his moment, but the next time he's in that position, it'll be his moment.
What I'm most upset about is that for the first time since September 2020, I didn't say Roman must pose, and he fucking posed.
Yeah, he did. He did pose.
I mean, it wouldn't have saved you anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
No, I know, but still.
It would have mattered for me. I would have.
I am glad that if Cody didn't win, that they did do the Smosh finish. I am sad he didn't win because I do feel like it was like it was one of those things like strike while the iron's hot, and that was like the perfect moment, and it feels a little missed, but I think eventually he'll get it. I just wish this would have been the time.
But think about it, though, in the past 3 months, they created that moment with McIntyre. Well, I guess you have to go back a little further than that, but they created that moment with McIntyre in Cardiff. They created that moment with Sammy in Montreal, and then they created that moment with Cody at Mania. So they'll be able to create that moment again. Like, I'm not worried about that. Like we're going when it happens.
I'm not saying, but I feel like it's not gonna be as special.
I think it will be.
It's like, just because you lost your virginity doesn't mean the second time is going to be just as special as the first, Jason. Jesus.
Well, the second time is going to be better than the first, because when you lost your virginity, you probably popped in 30 seconds.
Well, the second time, I imagine your endurance went that much higher.
Second time.
Depends on.
Second time.
You have 2 kids. It was at least twice.
Yeah, and that's it.
Third time.
So. And that's why I think I was back and forth on this match. Like, I guess at the moment I was kind of upset that Cody didn't win. But then when I thought about it more, I'm not that upset that Roman won. Because I do agree with Jason that I think that moment can be built again. Because now with Roman beating Cody, so let's face it, Cody's probably gave him the biggest challenge of his reign.
Without doubt, yeah. Well,
so now
Seth could make that argument too, though, because he never beat Seth. He had to get disqualified to keep his title against Seth. So yeah, there's a story there too.
Most of Roman's wins, honestly, have been tainted anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking now, now it's going to be a matter of when Roman does lose, we're not going to fucking know. That it's going to hit us so unexpectedly that we're going to be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I think the question is who at this point? I think
it could still be Cody. I think it's just going to take another year to build it. Like, let's say it's gonna be,
That's a bold choice.
Let's say it's gonna be Rock and Roman at SummerSlam. Maybe that's when we get the Rock, right? Is SummerSlam with Roman, and then Cody finds another way to build himself back to that, because he's got to go through Brock Lesnar. He's gonna be tested all year long. Because one, they want to make sure his body holds up. Because the last time they put him in a big spotlight,
he did pull his titty.
His pec went out, right? Because somebody had tweeted out something like, "Oh, way to ruin a year-long build." This was not a year-long build. He was out 9 months.
3 months.
He was
Yeah,
gone.
this was a 3-month build.
Like he didn't have that year storyline because for 9 months out of that year he was gone. So
yeah,
now he's gonna have that year that year to build up. And have that, have that moment at next year's WrestleMania in Philly, you know what I mean, or something like that, because that Philly crowd would be hot for anything that they do. But I don't know, or maybe it could be somebody else. Maybe it's Seth, because Seth, and I don't know if a lot of this is a shoot or if it's a little bit of a work. But Seth was pissed that Cody was in that spot, because Seth thinks he deserves to be in that spot. And even Becky took up for Seth in interviews and said some of the same thing. Like, yeah, okay, Cody's in that spot. I don't think he's ready for it. My husband should be in that spot. So
real quick, would you guys have liked it better if Seth came out to be Cody's partner and then he attacked Cody?
No, because I already saw that coming. The Brock thing I didn't see coming.
Yeah, Brock okay. I didn't see coming because Brock's petty and would want to do it to fuck with Roman. Seth, I would have seen the double cross from a mile away. Plus, I don't want to see Seth Cody anymore. We had it like 4 times. I'm good.
But what if it's a triple threat match next year at Mania with Seth, Cody, and Roman?
No, I want Cody to win it 1-on-1.
Yeah,
I feel like it needs to be like
Roman won't
earned.
get pinned. Yeah, Roman won't get. They'll do something. He won't get pinned. And
yeah. I don't want there any bullshit. I want fucking Cody to get that moment.
Okay, all right. So,
I still think Cody's gonna probably end up winning Money in the Bank. Maybe even Austin Theory. I could see winning Money in the Bank again.
Yeah.
But like Jason said before, I could see Jay fucking winning Money in the Bank. I honestly could see somebody like Jay or Solo taking the title.
I would love it if it was Jay. If they found a way to put that, if they found a way to work that out and it ended up being Jay, I would.
But
I mean,
going back to
I don't know what would be next for Jay after that. But if because
it would be a
thing started
transitional.
If Jay,
but going back to that tag match, real quick, like Jay's fucking expressions in that match, especially after like he was beating him and holding Sammy up in the corner, he just kind of looking like, the looks on his fucking face. Yeah. So, and somebody even said that months ago, like he's been the MVP.
Yeah.
Jey Uso. Yes, we talk about Sammy and everything, but Jey Uso from the beginning has been the fucking MVP of this. So I do agree with that. Like if Jay somehow was the one to dethrone him.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. Like if they told the right story and got us there, that would be the way to go, I think. But who knows? It's going to be interesting. And Raw definitely, as we talked about, wasn't that great of a show, but it definitely left a lot more questions than it did answers. You know what I mean? So I think it's just kind of one of
it's
those
a matter
things.
of let's see what happens tomorrow and just kind of
without a doubt,
day by day.
I am curious to see
day,
what Triple H is going to say, like his him talking, because he came out at the beginning of Raw and he said like, this is still my show, things are going to run the same way, and then nobody listened to that and everybody was just like, well, Vince did everything, Vince whatever.
Well, I mean, we know why we didn't listen to it, because that wasn't a Triple H show.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem that way, but I mean, Triple H can book a bad show. You know what I mean? Like he's not imperfect.
I just don't see him fumbling the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, though, that people equate the Raw after Mania to having all these big surprises. If you don't have any big surprises,
I don't even need big surprises. I just need fucking good show. Like it was just a bunch of people coming out like, I did this at Mania, I did that at Mania. I don't give a fuck because I watched Mania.
Yeah. And Jake, as of right now, Logan Paul is not under contract, so I don't know if he's going to be
Allegedly
Roman at WrestleMania next year.
Allegedly, I think he's kayfabing it because
maybe.
when he initially signed, it was a multi-year deal.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
So like I think he's just kayfabing it.
Like kind of like
he's
the knee injury. He's kayfabing it.
Yeah.
I
He blew out his entire ACL and SLL and QRL.
Even Seth Rollins said like he kind of hinted like he hopes that he stays.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of big announcements, we'll just kind of hit on this real quick. First of all, Jay White apparently is all elite. And then a lot of people were like, well, see, now Jay White didn't want to sign with WWE. Listen, if Jay White was
that would have been decided before that.
That would have been decided a long-ass time ago. He was never going to sign with WWE because it's, and I tweeted this out, AEW is too easy. He can still keep the Bullet Club gimmick alive. He can be with his friends. Like, he went the easy way. He didn't want to have to reinvent himself and do something that was outside of his comfort zone. Like, that's my opinion on the situation. Like, Jay White,
AEW is more his style.
Yeah, he took
it really is.
He took the easy road. I think, but then Tony Khan came out and announced that AEW was going to do another All-In show, the All-In 2, in London, England at Wembley Stadium. Great for them. London is always a hot crowd, but here's the thing I'm worried about. AEW, their highest drawing show is 20,000 people. Wembley Stadium holds 90,000. They have never filled a stadium in the United States where they are primarily at. I don't know they can fill a stadium even in the UK.
That's the difference, though, is the overseas crowds are a lot more like starving for this kind of thing than we are here. Here, it's like, okay, just wait for it to come around. I'll get some cheap tickets if I can. It is what it is. Overseas, they don't get a lot of that. So, like, when something shows up, they fucking show up.
Yeah.
I just hope, but is their audience big enough for it though? Like, yeah, there's a vocal online crowd, but they're still not drawing a huge number as far as views go. So
you have to remember, I don't believe the rating system for Dynamite and all of that and Raw is, I think it's just in the US. I don't think that gives international numbers.
Yeah, they have their own. Yeah. They have their own rating system. I'm just saying. I just hope that they know something that we don't. That's going to, I would hope that they have some data that makes them believe that this is possible.
They have to. They would have to.
In order to do this, because if they
could configure it off to where, like, okay, they're probably not going to put 90,000 people in there. Like, they can configure it to where maybe they can get 65,000.
Well, I mean, SummerSlam,
which is still big.
SummerSlam '92 was like 82,000.
Yeah, but but that was the old, like,
it was a minimal set. You're right, but
it was just a tunnel. So
even AEW set though, I don't know if that's going to block off 30,000. Like, I feel like
you could. I mean,
but you could 70, 75 maybe, but.
Yeah, but I mean, you could put like rafters and stuff. I'm sure they could bring something in to kind of like tarp it off,
shrink it down.
Yeah.
I guess I just hope that it's going to be filled enough to where it's not going to look bad for them. Because I feel like if they don't pack it's going to reflect poorly on them. Being that this is I feel like they're trying to hit a home run with their first pitch, and I'm just worried that if they don't,
I mean, it's very much make or break.
Yeah,
I do agree. It's very much make or break, but I have confidence in just the fact that over there they're starving to have anything come
and
their way that they'll fucking show up.
I hope you're right.
And they're gonna I think they'll put all the cards on the table. And, I mean, they're always good at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And I think
if nothing else, they'll be like, CM Punk's back.
I mean, but I mean, they might pull people from New Japan. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this person from here is popular in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, if it's somebody like Okada or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, they might have Ospreay versus Omega too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
would draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Will Ospreay.
They put the title back on Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then have him fucking face Osprey there. Like, I feel like that would do.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to talk shit or say that I don't want them to succeed, because that the
I
opposite
know,
is
yeah.
true. Like I want this to be good for them. I'm just worried that trying to fill a 90,000 seat arena when you've never done anything close to that. Ooh, man, like that's a task. You know what I mean? So I guess that's where I've just become a little worried about it. That's all.
I think
So,
that's why they're doing that over, like in the UK instead of here in the States. Is 'cause I think they know that, like, cause think about it. Clash of the Castle fucking sold out real quick.
right.
Mhm.
So I think they know that crowd and that like audience out there is starving for it, and that's why they decided to take that
Yeah.
chance there versus taking it here, because they knew they couldn't do it here.
Yeah, if they would have done it, like, say here in, like, let's say the Superdome, okay, the Superdome could hold like what, 70 some thousand, 80 some thousand. Like, it would end up being a disaster. Like, WCW did a Clash of Champions in 1989, and they decided, let's do it from the Superdome. Oh my God, we're broadcasting from the Superdome, this big stadium. And guess what? 5,000 people showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine tarping off a fucking
Right.
stadium for 5,000 fucking people. That's what probably would have happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they would have got 10, 12,000, but 10, 12,000, in a stadium like that's like, pissing in an anthole.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
All right, and we can get more into other things that happen on AEW, like MJF doing a whole show tune, song and dance number, and things like that. But we are past our hour mark, and I can tell that everybody's getting a little antsy. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up for today. But before we do that, I do want to congratulate Michael. So you got 9 matches correct between that WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. I got 8. Kevin got 6. So our new live and worldwide champion,